In this debate on the sale and supply of alcohol, sales on Anzac Day Morning, Good Friday, Easter Sunday and Christmas Day Amendment Bill. Mr Speaker, New Zealand has changed from when I was a teenager. Back in the days, I think you couldn't actually trade on a Sunday. I think TV2 was the only channel, and that ended about 9 o'clock, the little Kiwi came on. And a lot has changed since the 80s. And New Zealand will continue to change. And I believe that this is an evolution, this is a manifestation of that change, and that is one that I will be supporting today. Mr Speaker, New Zealand that I want to see in the future as we change is, much like the past, a liberal society where, broadly speaking, we allow individuals, businesses and workers the right to choose, where we allow people the freedom of religion and the right to observe your religious practices, and freedom of choice. I think those values are long-standing values in New Zealand society, and those are the values that I want to be at the forefront in the future. This bill is consistent with those values, Mr Speaker. I am also a Catholic, I should say, and like the member that's brought this bill to the House, not a very good Catholic, but one that understands the necessity of the days that are under question. And I'm not going to make a confession today, as my colleague Ruane Hamilton wishes that I do. But, Mr Speaker, this bill is consistent with the values that I want New Zealand to be in the future. It is good policy, as the member spoke. We've got Anzac Day coming up, and for some bizarre reason, we're having local RSAs that have to apply for special licences to serve alcohol in the morning. That just strikes me as bureaucratic, nonsensical, and not consistent with the spirit of the day and the spirit of our society. I've got businesses in my electorate that would love to trade on those days, and workers that would love to work on them. And the previous speaker spoke about the rights of workers, and workers ultimately have the right to say no. And I remember back when I was an apprentice butcher and on $6 an hour, and I could choose to work stat days, I could choose to work extra days if I wanted to get ahead. And if it didn't want to, then I could say no, and that business would go to another worker. So that is very much consistent with this good policy. And I think just, around the world, looking at, I've had the fortunate privilege of living in different contexts, and I've lived in France where often there's no businesses open on a Sunday, and I've lived in America where you can get a brand new suit at 10 p.m. at night. And I just think that this is consistent with where we're heading as liberal democracies, free market societies, where we give employers and employees the right to choose. But, Mr Speaker, I do want to touch on something, and that is the partisan politics of this House. Because, Mr Speaker, this is the second time this year that this House is dealing with this question. And I walked through the yeas only to be met with a block vote from Labor on the noes. And I wish to acknowledge my friend Cameron Luxton, who brought a bill very similar to this to the House, and it was voted down. So what annoys me, Mr Speaker, is that we get caught up in partisan politics, and that gets in the way of good policy. And it's all very well to say, well, it's good policy, but we can't support it because it's from the opposition. And it is on that basis, Mr Speaker, that I stand here saying that I'm happy to support this bill because I think it's good policy. I don't really agree with the member on a lot of other issues, but on this very issue, I can agree with him. So I look forward to sending this bill, hopefully, to Select Committee. I do think it's probably gone a little bit more further than the bill that we considered just a few months ago. So I'd be curious on what New Zealanders have to say, and I'll make my judgment on the future direction thereafter. But, Mr Speaker, I commend this bill to the House.
What do you think his favourite drink is? Appetiser?
Great. Oh no, but the fact when he was a butcher apprentice, was he working for a supermarket? Because I don't know. I mean, okay, in Newtown, yes, the halal butcher is open 7 days a week, but I'm trying to think outside of Wellington. I've not come across a butcher that was open 7 days a week. And the only ones that I know open 7 days a week are the 2 halal butchers in Newtown.
I mean, what's the moral of the story here? Be like France? I mean...
France has 4 months off a year. So,
I support that.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to do that, then I think most people would be quite glad with that.
Now, when you say 4 months off a year, does that 4 months a collective of annual leave and public holidays?
It is, yeah. I mean, basically, they take half of, they get to the summertime, and then everyone heads down to the south of France, and they basically just take their time off. But they're also heavily unionized, and so the country is very, very different to what we have.
Yeah.
If he's advocating for that, I think that would be quite good. But I haven't heard a single thing out of Dan Bidois that's interesting or inspiring at all. Every time he speaks, it's just completely uninspiring.
Trying to sound inspirational while selling flat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Attempting to be inspirational. Now.
sure you're subscribed to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. Who's got the order, baby?